Okay, I'm going to start with the multi-head screwdriver set. This is just an off-the-cuff review. There's nothing particularly significant about it. I just thought I'd show it as it comes. So first things first, we get a demagnetizer. Um, I don't know exactly how these work. I think you just put the bits through, or the screws, and it either becomes magnetic or demagnetized, depending on which way around it goes. I think. I forget, but I can look it up. Simple cantilever thing, that's quite common. A set of tweezers. I don't think these are magnetic. No, but that's actually good. You don't really. I mean, sometimes you want magnetized ones. I find I don't want magnetized ones because what tends to happen is you got to pick up something very small so you can put it in place, and then it sticks to it, and you pick it back up out of where it needs to go. So demagnetized ones are better, especially if you're working with magnets, funnily enough. Um, it's perfectly fine. Let's see if I can get that to focus. It's sharp enough, it's fine enough. Actually, the biggest selling point is it's quite a long set. So, yeah, I'm sure there's use for that. Might be good for reaching things at a distance. As for the screwdriver itself, I don't really have a fine multi-tip screwdriver. I mean, I've got this one, which is fine. It has a nice spinny thing on the end. I mean, this is just so you can go like that, and you know, um, the bits are quite nicely in there. They're not the absolute best I've ever had. What have I got in there at the moment? That is a very fine hex piece, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly swap. This is probably easier with two hands. Let's pop that in there. And they're quite long bits, quite thin too, so this may work, it might not. I mean, it goes in there nicely, doesn't seem to be gripping onto it. Oh no, I got it. And I mean, I've loosened it. See, there you go, it works. That's all it needs to do. I like this one, it stores the bits inside, as you can see. This is one my dad left me, funnily enough. It's handy. I don't know if the bits are interchangeable. Let's find out. Oh, how about that? Actually, that's a more... It's about the same. Anyway, yes. So, fine. Whatever is more useful. It's fine. It's not the best I've had. It's not as good as like the Weeha ones that you can buy, but they typically don't have multi-changeable heads. I think Vera do one as well, but this is fine. You know, it was only a fiver for the lot. It's good value for money. It's not the best, but it's good enough, which is sometimes all you need it to be. A quick addendum just before I forget. Um, yes, it is magnetic. It's not the strongest, but which is probably why it wouldn't come out of the socket on the thing, but it is technically magnetic. So maybe I can improve that. Okay, now this is the one that I was kind of most interested in to some extent because, okay, I already have a pin vise, which is what we call these. They are occasionally called jeweler's drills or whatever, and you know it's got the same spinny thing. It matches the other one. It's fine. It's a bit rough. It's got some knurling to make it a bit easier to use, but it's a very simple thing. You just unscrew and then tighten it up again at the chuck. And let's see how tight does this go. Yeah, it's just a simple chuck like this. Okay, fine, it works. I already have this one by Tamiya, and oh, it's lovely. This bit spins so much more nicely. It doesn't spin as fast, but it's more balanced. You get the weight on it. I mean, to be fair, I've not got it as tight, but oh, it's beautiful. But anyway, that's not the point. This one is adaptable. This is the one bit that sucks, is that the threading on it is so long, but it has multiple It's my favourite bit. Look. Da, 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 da. As you can see, it's got multiple different sizes of head for the different things, and there are 4, not 3. So you've got more flexibility, as it were, and it means you can hold blades in these as well, which might be useful for something. Or if you've got a flat-sided thing to grip rather than one of these, whatever. I will test these, because this is the bit I was more interested in, is the different sizes of drill bits. My issue is that the bits themselves are either not going to be sharp enough for plastic, or metal. I kind of need them for metal, or they won't fit very well, or I don't know. We'll see. I'm just worried that it's not going to be quite what I'm after, but it's quite the variety of sizes. It was, again, only a £5. Anything that bothers me slightly, these bits come out, both this one, and this opens up, but it's only on a simple folded plastic hinge like this. And if I'm not careful, in fact, just as time goes by, I've got a sneaking suspicion this is going to snap, either coming out of this like this, or opening and closing this. You know, it's only friction fit, and it's very, very soft plastic. It's going to get brittle, and just the action of dirt, 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 dirt. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to test these out on the different bits and see how they work, and I'll get back to you on a second video. Okay, so good news, they both fit very well. You can immediately tell the difference between a very tight, good grip on a chuck versus the thing on this one. Yes, I have done the biggest and the smallest, but this would be the same if I was putting the big one in here as well, because there's only so many places the thing can hold on to. If these were tri bits, it might be different, but then you've got to chamfer the bottom end as well as the top, and then you've got to make sure it fits. And the more you try to reshape it, the less it's going to fit for different things, which is the problem. However, they do work very well, and if I'm being honest, as a set, this is really good. Like, if the biggest bit fits in here, and it is a very snug fit, and it fits in here, which it should, for a £5, that's a really good modelling set. If you're working on anything, you know, hobbying, drilling tiny bits of wood or potentially metal or whatever, this is a good way to go. Okay, I'm just going to see. I mean, this is the slightly older Games Workshop plastic, but it should be fine. I'm just going to set that down and then hold that in place and get to drilling. Oops. Let's do it so we can see it, eh? Is it the other way around? Should be. It's this way. Yep, it's starting to bite. This is slightly softer plastic, so yeah, there it goes. Yep, that's making a small bite. I mean, this would be easier if I made like a pilot hole. Let's try next to it. I should have actually got a little knife and made a small pilot hole, but never mind. Yeah, it's not the absolute sharpest I've ever used, but does the job. And just for comparison's sake, let's try the action on this one while I'm at it. Oh, well, yeah, there you go. It's dumped itself back in. It shows you how tight that was. One other thing that can happen is it can go slightly off center if you're not careful, which sucks for drilling. So I'm just going to correct that. Sometimes you can get away with putting it a bit further down the chamber. This is what happens sometimes with smaller bits, is they can, yeah. Right, let's go. See how well that takes up. There you go. Look, you can see it going right in. Nice. Yep. No issues with these whatsoever, and the pin vise itself is fantastic. So Parkside, it's a nice one. I mean, to be fair, this wasn't much more expensive. In fact, I think it was about the same price, £5 or £6. Obviously, better overall design. You only need the thing itself, but to have all of these are surprisingly hard to come by, and because they're made for this, it fits better. You can buy lots of cheap drill bits, but the problem is they are cheap and typically they don't last. That's what's going to be the real magic, is whether or not these last. If they don't, well, that's a shame, but they work. I'll test them on metal a little later on. It's pewter, it's nice and soft, it doesn't blunt them as easily, and the bits I've got already, they work very well, but I haven't got that many different sizes, which is hopefully what this is going to be for. I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of the very fine ones, but yeah, I've got a Rolson kit somewhere, and it's okay. One of them snapped, which I think says a lot about what happens when you buy cheap. And hey, look, there you go, bought twice, as the saying goes. On to the next thing. Okay, now this is the one that I was most interested in working with, because one of the biggest things that's an issue is when you've got things like sprue, or you want to do a customization piece, like you want to shorten an arm or replace an arm, and it's like one whole piece, or you just want to trim something off, you need a saw. And trying to find a saw that's the right and appropriate thing, quite difficult. There are model saws, some of them are quite good. I happen to find this one. It is surprisingly hard to find modelling tools and stuff in shops in the UK, unless you go to like either really far out or whatever. I've mentioned this before. You type into, for example, a search engine, hey, hobby shops near me, and you get like 50 results for things that are local, but it's the same 5 shops repeated 10 times each. So, and they're all generic purpose brand ones. Imagine if every shop you went to, you went, hey, I need food, and every shop that came up, instead of restaurants, you just had Tesco, Albert, Kaufland, and Lidl repeated everywhere across the city. No more Delish, no more Roots Pizza, no more Baguetterie Boulevard. All you had were just the supermarkets. It's like that everywhere, and it sucks. So to see this for a fiver again, because it's a set, yeah, and then I noticed it does actually specify metal, wood, plastic. So there's a chance. There's a chance. Let's start with the handle. Oh, so I'm gonna be honest. It's a simple wing nut. These are called wing nuts in English. I don't know what you call them in Czech, but we call them wing nuts. Um, I don't know why the handle is that way up. Maybe there's a reason. It's fine. It's got a good rubber coating on it. No like excess sprue or anything. Wait. Huh. Hmm. I don't know. WWS? SMM. I don't know. Anyway, this is gonna suck when it turns back to goop in a few years. I'm not looking forward to that. But that is not now, so let's not worry about that. Um, I'm gonna need 2 hands to get one of these in. One moment. Sorry, one just small thing to add. Um, these are surprisingly firm in the case, which is okay. I've got this one out, so these two around it are fine. But if I want to get this one out, oh, you shouldn't really be gripping it where the pointy bits are. Do you know what I mean? And if I try from here, it doesn't quite. I mean, it's because I haven't put it back in flat. But these clasps, maybe they'll work out in time. But if you want to just, oh, that's really. I mean, that's sharp as well. You know, it's a slight design issue. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. That's hopefully not an omen. Also, I just noticed, why does it go that way round, leaving all this space? Is it so you can just pick it up with the void space? But I don't know, it feels weird having that up there when it could be that way round and still just as easy to pick up. I don't know. Okay, so we're in. And first thing I did notice is, yes, that is upside down, because if you were to put the blade in the other way up, the wing nut would be in the way, which it still kind of is, but I get why they've done it. And also because then you would have less of the serration. Um, yeah, yeah. Maybe it's just me. Does it look like it's bending down slightly? But that's not even the worst bit. This might be a bit hard to sort of demonstrate, but can you see that? Hang on, let me put the camera down and show you this way. There's just a bit of play in the mechanism itself. I don't know if you can see that, where the metal shield around the thing. So all of that, in fact, you can see where the wing nut is going up and down as well. That's not good, and I can't really get it much tighter than that because it's separate. The metal bit with this is just loose in there. I have played with the thing at different lengths, so whoops. I did wonder whether or not maybe it was because maybe I've put it too far in, but if that bit itself is loose, that's a problem. So, yeah, if you're trying to get precise cutting, this may be an issue, but we'll see. It might be better to just take that into consideration, cut with a bit of excess, and then sand it down afterwards. Speaking of which, I should probably find something I wish to cut. Hey, so remember what I said about not having a vise available? Well, I may have been slightly incorrect. Anyway, I have a plastic piece here, and I'm going to give this a go. So, take a few... Oh, there we go. It's gripping. I mean, to be fair, this is the metal one, not the plastic one, but it's not bad. You get a good... Nope. Yeah, that's cut surprisingly cleanly. Bring it around this way so you can see it from the other side. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that. Okay, well, you can see what I was resting the camera on. You know what? For all my misgivings about that, I think that works pretty well. So, as I was saying before, you can see the little notch, and the way it works is, and I've kind of disassembled it, it literally is just a small, like, funnel that it sits through. I don't know why there's a circular hole there. Maybe it can be purpose for other things. And this, I called it a wing nut. It is technically a wing nut, but what they've done is that they've just literally stuck a thread through it so it stays in place. I thought the thread was on this bit and this just tightened up and down, but no. I guess it makes sense for it to be on here so we can just pull in and out of the thread on this to tighten onto this. But yeah, I told you it was loose. I didn't realise it was going to be a completely separate, hollowed out compartment. You can see it doesn't even go all the way in. The fact it's not even glued in place is interesting, but I mean, it can't. I guess it's better that it comes out because then you can adjust it as you see fit. Um, I like it. It is simple, and sometimes that's all you need. The little hollowed out barrel, I mean, this is solid enough. It'll do the job. Um, let's see if I can get this in nice and easy. One more. So yeah, it's back in. It's still, I mean, it's not loose when you shake it. I'm just cautious that on some of the bigger ones like this, when you're trying to make a cut through, I mean, you wouldn't use this for anything major. This would probably do balsa wood or maybe some very simple ply, but nothing too grippy for obvious reasons. Although if you're doing slightly grippier stuff, you've got the smaller ones. But that's not the point. I think, I mean, this might do foam. Anyway, point is, I think the slack, it's not going to break on that tip there where it's narrow. It doesn't matter. With the slack that's in this, you couldn't get the most precise cuts. That's fine. I can live with that. You are literally just, the handle is just a separate entity. All you're really doing is pulling this bit into the metal there, and this just happens to be in the middle, acting as a buffer between the two. That's it. It's so uncomplicated, but it does the job. It cuts. I mean, no, yes, it cuts. You know, and it's fine. It's focus. Yeah, it's a pretty clean cut. It's not the best, but it's clean enough. I'm happy with it. um, a bad workman always blames his tools. I can make this work, but for again, when I was comparing this to this, well, I'm going to use this all the time. It's just nicer and it's sturdier. There is going to be somewhere exists a better version of this out there, but this is the one that I could get my hands on. I didn't have to look online for it. I could see it in person. I could use it the day I purchased it. And that is the important thing. And now I've got it. Whatever comes next has to be really good to justify upgrading this, because this will be good enough for now, which is all it ever needs to be when it comes to working with tools. So, all in all, what do I reckon? Not bad. If you didn't have one already, I would say this is a good pin vise set. I don't know how I feel about the storage of it, but again, that's not the end of the world. These can always come out and be stored elsewhere. That's not a bad pin vise as far as I go. I've seen far worse. Just the little spinny bit at the top there, that makes it. But again, if you already got a good one, you might prefer that. And the chuck on this isn't great, but they're really common chucks. I mean, it's literally just bits of flexing metal that clip together. But it's fine. Like I said, I have a backup. It's just how it goes. Screwdriver set. Don't have a precision screwdriver set. I mean, I have this, which is great. It rattles because obviously the bits are on the inside. And I mean, that's a much more compact thing, but it's not a bad screwdriver. It feels a bit, I don't know, scratchy to use, but again, the thing at the top is quite nice. It works, and the bits on it are quite nice as well. Not perfect, and like I said, you could buy better screwdrivers, but for £5, it's really good. Although there might be times when I might decide to take this one with those bits. I don't know. I have to think about it because this is convenient, and of course it fits in the shirt pocket with the little clip. Maybe it's ideal to have both. The saw set. I need a saw. The blades are fine, and it works. I'm trying not to sound negative because I actually like having it. I wish the actual bit that stuck it together, the clamp, was a bit better. I wish there was a bit more friction fit to it. Maybe if the sides held or whatever. I would like if the grip was a bit nicer. This is not the nicest thing to hold or to use, but it does cut, and that's all it needed to do, so it's fine. If you don't have one and you need one, this will do, unless you want to go hunting for something better. I can't find better very easily without shopping online and buying, from all manner of different places. But this, I could just walk into a shop and get, and that's all it needed to do. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do about replacement blades. I might have to investigate that because I don't know how long these are going to last. But then I could say that for the bits in here as well, although I mainly wanted it for the bits. This is a good set in general. But yeah, I'm happy. But my favourite thing about these, and the reason why I ended up getting all three, is they stack together nice and neat. And yeah, I didn't actually show you the backs, did I? Yeah, you can see there's nothing terribly interesting on the back here, but yeah, yeah, I'm happy with my purchases.